here we go. The game has begun. 1d4 by Jan. So he has stuck to the Catalan this tournament.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to switch it up. Wesley is an extremely solid and experienced 1e5 player. Jan wanted something a bit different. So let's see which system Wesley decides to choose here.
Okay, so Wesley going for the traditional a4.
Yeah.
Eschewing the, b5, which is all the rage. And
Bishop g5.
This is a dry line, but it's, I think, considered a little bit better for white. Just a smidge.
Yes. And now the idea is you can go bishop e4 here, right? Yes, correct. Queen c1, and yeah, you can go h6. This is all perfectly reasonable. You can take knight knight bd2.
Trade on f3 and c6 by Wesley. Now, black's position is just rock solid here.
Yes.
I mean, no targets. To win this with white takes at least 50 moves. I don't think white has won a single game in this line in under 40 moves. And there's that h4 move again. I think Jan has played h4 in every one of his matches thus far at some point. He played it against Bortnik in the end game, against Hans in the opening, and here in the middle game. Okay, driving the pawn to h5. What do you make of that?
I don't like it. I mean, but he must have a reason why he does it, because it looks counterintuitive to me to fix the structure like that when we don't have a dark square bishop. So I don't quite get it. Maybe it's more to do with the fact that you could actually use the light squares in some future if you get the bishop on the b1 h7 diagonal and you manage to set up a battery there. It's actually quite difficult to stop. I mean, that's why Wesley has put the knight on b4 to basically blunt out all of these ideas.
Well, that knight is beautiful. That is the pride of black's position. Another idea that I have seen carried out is, well, first of all, the doubling of rooks on the d file is very traditional. I've also seen rook a6, rook b6 essayed by strong players. And for Jan, I mean, I guess he'll probably play rook ac1 just to complete the architectural design, as my coach used to say, just to make sure everything is neat and tidy, the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. But what is his eventual plan? Is it to play g4 and attack on the king side? I always have a hard time determining that. Or maybe he is trying to get his bishop around to this diagonal.
Yeah, I don't quite know how you manufacture it, though. It's not clear cut to me whatsoever. So curious to see how this one does in fact pan out.
An important decision to make right now, whether to trade knights, and if so, on what terms? Do you let black take on e4? Well, I guess the answer is yes. And I think he's trying actually to take with a queen and then maneuver the bishop around to d3.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to go queen takes and go bishop e2, bishop d3, and that's the idea behind h5.
So maybe it is prudent for black to play a move like queen d6 in order to meet bishop e2 with queen d5.
Correct.
And if the queens are forced off the board, it's you might as well sign the score sheets.
Correct.
I mean, white can play queen too. I think this was a good choice by Nepo. He's basically playing without risk.
Yes.
He's a little bit better, and he can just enjoy his life for a little while here.
Correct.
He can savor the satisfaction of playing a position like this without any risk.
Correct. So
Wesley thinking.
So what to do? How do you play these positions with black? If I knew that answer, I'd be 2600 already.
Yeah, this is a classic 2700 position.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like bishop 6. Okay,
I've had this I've had this structure once against 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬, and I lost a 100-move game in the it was in the World Team Championship. It was one of the saddest moments of my career, actually. World Team Championship 2015. We're we're playing Armenia. This was the only team tournament I'd played, and now thus far I'd been having a good event.
Okay.
But my 3 teammates had all drawn, so I was the last game. I was playing 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬, and it was this structure. We were going back and forth and back and forth. I offer a draw eventually. I already think it's a tie matchup. He doesn't take it, and we trade queens, and I managed to lose the rook endgame. I make a couple careless moves, and it was ridiculously painful because that feeling that you are to blame. You are the one lost when your teammates draw. Now the next round, I beat Yakovenko to save our match against Russia, but when I lost to 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬, we were all at dinner, and my teammates were all so nice, but eventually that just made me tear up. Like how nice they were, and they went out of their way to tell me it's not my fault, but you know the truth of the situation. So I was determined to redeem myself.
If I was the captain and you let me down, Danya, I'd give you a mats. You know. There'd be none of this.
As you should.
Patting on the back. I'd be like, Danya, mate, listen, we need to have a chat. Okay. No, I mean, yeah, I know the feeling. I've botched countless team matches. Horrible feeling. Yeah, and okay, but I this rugby 4 maneuver is actually reasonably well known as well.
And then since they're still keeping the status quo here, one very quick follow-up story. After that, I had a fight with Gregory Kagdanov, who was the team coach.
Okay.
I was playing Dmitry Yakovenko. We were playing Russia. This is the day after, in a bad mood. And he basically calls me to his room and says, you should play the Italian. Now, I'd not played the Italian in 10 years. I'm a Rui Lopez player. I'm not playing the Italian, Gregory. You're going to play the Italian. Wait, first of all, I think we should switch to the game, because hasn't he just blundered the pawn on b3?
What?
Or does he want to play bishop d3 and hunt for the king on h7?
But there's nothing. The king comes around to e7. I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay, pause the story. Cut the commercial. Wait a second.
Whoa.
Wesley has been the recipient of 2 free pawns now.
Wow.
Jan blundered it. Look at his... You can tell.
Yes, he's definitely blundered it. This is his...
But okay, it's still not so bad. It's still okay. You're defensible, but why give up pawn like this? Yes, because okay, one check and then king easily escapes.
Yeah, this is very, very unusual. Wesley can just trade a pair of rooks and play, I don't know, whatever he likes. This is a dream for Wesley. So I can't believe Wesley's been gifted 3 times. He got gifted the pawn against Sevilla. He got gifted the blunder in that endgame against Hikaru. Now he's been gifted a pawn here. He's been gifted more times than I did when I was 11 years old and a good boy, and I wrote a long list to Santa. I mean, he's had more gifts in one tournament than I've had lifetime in chess against these.
You players. Mean 2 pawns? More of a gift than a trip to Hawaii, 2 laptops and a car? Come on. Exactly. Wait a second. Whoa.
Take bishop. No, surely not. Bishop d4, e4, queen d4, queen d5. Oh my god. Smokes.
And if rook a3, queen d6. Oh my god. Lands. Rook c3 though. Wait a second.
There's a way to get that. Queen e.
Oh my god, queen e5 and queen b2.
Queen b2. No.
Oh no.
No.
And rook b3, there is a Forkovich. On d5, and Wesley sees it. He's thinking.
Of course he sees it. Of course he sees it.
To borrow a phrase from a toxic streamer, of course he sees it. He sees everything. Of course he'll find it. Bishop takes d4, wins the game. This ends the RCC.
This is it.
Will Wesley
you take on c3 first, don't you?
Of course. You take on c3 first, because if you take on d4 first, then you allow rook takes b3, and Wesley, drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Actually, yeah.
No, he missed it.
No.
He missed it.
Come on, dude.
But he's winning another pawn anyway.
Rooks,
or is he? I mean, rook c4.
No, rook c4, yeah. Rook c4
It's
holds.
still very unpleasant for white.
Yes, it is.
We remind you, Jan must win this match in order to qualify. There's a lot of money on the line for him. And okay, this is incomparable. This is incomparably better for white than the other line. I guess king e7, just to get the headache of the check out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's never winning this. Not in a million years. Not in a million years.
But a draw is fine. A draw leads to a tiebreaker.
Yes. Well, he needs to make a draw first. Right?
Bishop takes d4 is a very findable tactic, and I say that.
Yes. Well, I found it in 1 minute, and I'm a plank. So you know.
Well, you can't stop comparing Wesley to the gods of chess. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know, if you found it, that means he'd probably find it about 20% of the time. But it's like, do you remember I shared that story about when I was writing like my first quote unquote chess book. I was maybe 7 or 8, and it has the phrase. I was laughing about this so hard with my brother the other day. If you set a trap, I was basically saying you shouldn't play for traps. If you set a trap when you're playing Vladimir Kramnik, there's a 60% chance that he sees it. I specifically chose 60. It's just funny. I didn't have any conception of like how good he is. So,
right.
I said there's a 60% chance, so you shouldn't play for traps because likelier than not he's going to see it.
There you go.
Okay, so what does Wesley do? Amazingly, Nepo has set up some sort of weird kind of fortress, and b5 drops the c6 pawn, which is a portal to black's king. You might get checkmated there.
Yeah, I mean, bishop takes d4 was just so begging to be played.
No, I'm honestly totally stunned he didn't see it. I mean the calculation was so straightforward because there are no checks.
Right. And he had 6 minutes or 5.5 minutes. It's
very strange. Very strange.
I don't know if unforgivable is a bit harsh. Maybe it is a bit harsh. I don't know.
But it's strange, and we don't say that in a disparaging way. We say that precisely because Wesley is a beast, right? That is the reason why it's odd that he's missed this.
Correct.
Because he doesn't miss that kind of stuff. Okay, queen f4. Now game is wide open. Wesley's low on time.
Okay. Imagine he lost this. Can you imagine?
You could. I mean, rook takes c6 almost works. It's close. The king has only one square. Close. But no cigarillo. Okay, king c8. So, how do the commentators find a winning combination, but the super GMs don't? That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Well, very simple.
It's actually the $7,500 question to be exact.
It's a lot easier to commentate than play. Let's put it like this. It's tough to play chess.
It's always easy from the side.
There's a lot of pressure, and
Okay, so now the ball is in Nepo's court to keep the flames of his initiative alive. But he could play a neutral move like queen e4 and ask Wesley what the heck he wants to, how he wants to make progress.
Right.
And he does.
He does, yeah.
I think king b8 is...
King b8. King b8? Okay, no. Rook d5. Just...
Rook.
Ah.
He's going to have to go right back to where he came from.
Yeah.
Rook d8.
Yeah, he does. Okay.
A repetition is already not out of the question at this point. King b8.
But I think you feel kind of like you've squandered as black here. I mean, you were a full pawn up.
No, he's frittered away the lion's share of his
actually,
advantage.
King c8, queen e4 is already threefold, right?
Repetizione de la, yeah. There we go. It's a draw. Oof.
Huge
Very
missed
frustrating.
opportunity.
Very frustrating indeed for Wesley. And the good news for him is that he will have the white pieces in their Blitz playoff game. But
yeah, we should probably just go to that moment, Dania, just to show them just to show everybody once again. And
just to be clear, we do have access to the engine, but we saw bishop takes d4 without any. I mean, at least I know you saw it without. I didn't have the engine on.
Dania has that. I have no engine. I am my own.
Neither
engine.
of us had the engine on. I mean, we honestly saw this move fair and square.
It's a very simple tactic, though, because
it really is. It's nothing to hang one's hat on.
Yeah.
Rook a3.
Queen b2 here also is good. Yeah.
And that's it. And what makes it so easy to calculate is that white has no counterplay against black's king whatsoever. Rook b3 check, queen d5, and it's over.
It's
shocking.
It's really
absolutely shocking. But will Wesley pay the price for that missed opportunity? That remains to be seen. And the time